Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just want to do a little short video about some books I picked up from the library. And actually, these books I purchased from that library. They're basically renovating and getting rid of old or redundant material or material that's like never been used, stuff like that. And technically, it's not even like the library in my town, but my town doesn't have a library. But it's the next town over that our town is basically subsidized into. But anyways, like I was saying, they had since I've been helping them sort of do some of the labor and work for that. I got kind of like a sneak peek at some of the ones they were selling or getting rid of, stuff like that. And I found this set on World War One, which I think is awesome. As you guys know, I've been reading quite a few books on World War One. And now have almost a whole shelf on World War One topics, basically. At the end of the video, I'll show you maybe that whole shelf, which is pretty cool because I started off with zero at the beginning of the year, and I've read I think 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. But anyways, I picked up these books, and it's actually a set of 7 books, and it's entitled "Source Records of the Great War." What I thought was interesting too was these books. It states right at the beginning, the binding design on this volume is an authorized facsimile of the original art binding on the official French copy of the Versailles Peace Treaty. So the sort of scroll work and all that stuff is based on the Versailles Peace Treaty. And like I said, there's 7 volumes. The first one here is the causes, basically the lead up to World War One. Then we have the second one, 1914, and they're all a little bit different color. There's a couple overlap, but they look really nice together on the shelf. Then we have 1915, 1916, 17, 18, and 1919 as the last one. And even though they're a little beat up, I think they look really awesome. They just look really cool. And what's interesting about them is they're full of, since they were written so close to the end of the war, like I said, I think they were published in like 1923, or at least the first one was. There's a lot of very early source material, obviously, since it literally was written down right after. And it's got lots of primary source material as well as secondary source material. So you have, accounts of battles or events that happened during the war by either generals or commanders, stuff like that. But there's also essays by economists and heads of state or government officials of different states and like ambassadors, stuff like that. Some eyewitness accounts. There's just some cool, just awesome things in here. Like I was saying, it's kind of all over the place. I might not really read them all the way through, obviously, just because that's a lot of material, and it's like I said, it's more of a compilation of source material. But just for example, at the beginning of 1914, the second volume, obviously Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia. In the first chapter, we have essays by a Serbian scholar and soldier, Vladislav Savic, a Serbian diplomat, Waslav Petrovic, Professor Rice at the University of Lausanne, a Swiss neutral, and General Krobotin, an Austrian Minister of War. So you actually get perspectives from many of the different sides. It's not just told from the victors or winners side of different events. So I just thought it was really, just really awesome. The subheading is source records of the Great War, a comprehensive and readable source record of the world's Great War, emphasizing the more important events and presenting these as a complete narrative in the actual words of the chief officials and most eminent leaders. So anyways, like I said, it's got archival stuff, eyewitness stuff, memoir type stuff, just awesome. I just thought it was really cool, and just really excited to have them on my World War One shelf. And so let me just show you my whole World War One shelf and tell me what you guys think. Alright, so here's my World War One shelf, and I think it's kind of cool just because I started the year off with no World War One books, and this year I've accumulated a whole shelf worth, and I've already read a couple already. Collision of Empires down on the far right, Betrayal at Little Gibraltar I just did for one of my owls, and A World Undone, which I think is probably the best overview of World War One in a single volume format. And Rites of Spring, which I'm not even going to review because it was so over my head on high culture and stuff. It was just kind of weird. But and I got 2 more planned for the Newts, First Over There, and The Wolf. So hopefully I get through those, finish them, and I can review those. And then obviously the source records of the Great War down on the left-hand end, and I just think they look really cool on the shelf when they're all together. I don't know why they didn't like alternate in order. I guess the colors, it goes like red, green, red, and then blue, brown, green, blue. Well, I don't know why, but that's okay. Like I said, they just look really cool, and I just think they're gonna look awesome in my bookshelves. And whenever I get to doing a reorganization of my shelves, I'm definitely gonna want to show these ones off. So, anyways, so there's my World War One shelf. If you guys have any suggestions for books on World War One, definitely leave them down below. I'd be really excited to actually hear what you guys think for good recommendations on the Great War. But whatever you're reading, always remember, read victoriously.